asking, what's the difference between the Rigors on the road in Japan compared to being with the WWF, for example?
Well, yeah. You see, the thing is, I'll give New Japan this, because a lot of people, I think that it was a lot harder of a schedule back in the 80s when my dad and Dynamite Kid were there, and there was a lot more kayfabe, and guys were stiffer with each other. There's a lot of long bus rides, there's some cold arenas, but like I said, the last time I was, like the last year or so, I was on tours of Japan, in New Japan, excuse me. The work wasn't exactly hard, it just wasn't, there wasn't really a challenge to it. And that being said, was that, you know, you're in 8-man tags or 10-man tags. You know, I like to go out there and I like to have a hard tour and at the end feel like you gave it your all. You know, if it's a G1 climax, those are a lot tougher. But that being said, New Japan's expanded their tours to cater to the talent, which I think is very good. You know, years ago when I was in the first G1 climax in 2013, I think they did 13 days with 12 shows, like the block was 12 shows. And we had like 1 day or 2 days off, and it was in the heat of the summer in August. I mean, guys were getting injured left, right, and center. And that was another thing that I would go back to when we were talking about New Japan before, was when I come back, I was jacked and, you know, lean, and I was healthy. And when they just totally said, no, we're not going to book you. And it was like, well, you have all these guys on the G1 climax, like when I did that tour in July, like Shibata's, he's wrapped up like a mummy backstage. He's getting the needles in his back, and he's walking around like an 80-year-old man. And I was specifically told on tour that don't even touch him. He's that injured and that messed up. Don't punch him, don't do anything. He's just in there to come in and out, do a spot. Goto was like that. Tomohiro Ishii, he was like that too. And it's like, well, why don't you give these guys a break and have someone like myself come on for a G1 climax? And it's like, look, Shibata's, he had that cracked skull. There's guys getting injured left, right, and center. Hiromu Takahashi got injured. I'm concerned for the safety of guys with a lot of these goofy head bumps that they're doing. So that being said, the WWE schedule, it's like 6 half dozen the other. They're hard in both ways. New Japan, you get to go home, you get to rest. Guys that are on tour, the Japanese boys on every single tour, day, tour in, tour out, they're getting it a lot worse, and they don't get to recover as well. So, but the WWE travel schedule is not to be laughed at. It's really hard. So, and going back to what I was talking about, that first G1 climax I was on, I mean, I remember one time I was so tired, I worked Tanahashi, and he does a left-handed slap. He gave it to me, and anybody that gets hit hard in boxing or MMA or it was one of those ones where he hit me so hard where I was like, I shook the cobwebs up, and it was like, I wanted to knock him out. And he hit me, and I was like, wow. And I didn't do anything. We kept on the match, and I was like, man, I'm wondering if he could have hit me harder. So then the next day, Tanahashi was working with Goto. He hit him with that same left-handed slap. It's not even a slap, it's like a palm strike. He broke Goto's jaw in half. Goto was out for about 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
That's to show you that pro wrestling over in Japan is no joke even. So my jaw's pretty good for hits like that. But that being said, G1 climax, when there's times like that, the competition gets stiffer, it gets harder. They've stretched it out longer nowadays, so WWE or New Japan, what's harder? I don't know, they're both the same. And both hard work.
Any chance of you teaming up with Bronwyn for a mixed tag as a tribute to your fathers?
You know, I don't know. I'm not sure. I would like to. I don't think Bronwyn's, she'll probably admit this too, she hasn't had enough training or anything. However, having Bronwyn manage me to the ring would be a nice tribute. Lately I've been doing some stuff. I've been coming off the top rope with a diving headbutt, like Dynamite Kid, as a tribute, and it's been working, it's been good. Yeah, I mean, go back to that, another little argument. Like my thought was when Dynamite passed away, I was on a New Japan tour, and it was hard for me to hear because I was on tour, and he died on his birthday, and I know his daughter was sad. And it was like the final day, they were doing a Dynamite Kid tribute, 10-bell salute, and they played his entrance music. And it was like, I thought it would have been better if Lance Archer and I came out, because we didn't do very good in the tag league. Point system wise, we were losing. I said, why don't we come out and wrestle with the young boys, and I do the diving headbutt or do a nice tribute, we go over strong, come out, we do the thing for Dynamite, we play his music, and he didn't want to change it. He wanted to do like some 6-man or 8-man tag with Michael Elgin and Chucky T and Trent Beretta, because he's like,
Yeah, Chucky T hit you with the chair and he's gonna go crazy like Ken Shamrock.
I was going, Chucky T going crazy with Ken Shamrock. Who are we trying to kid here? I like Chucky T. I'm just saying he's not the right guy for that role. He doesn't look like Ken Shamrock. He's not a shoot fighter. I don't know if then Ken could play that role, because I think he was a bit half nuts. But that being said, and it was like, well, who really got over at her then? And then Chucky T went left off to AEW, and it's like he invested all his time, but you're just letting these talent go because you don't want to pay them more, or you don't want to, because you think that you can just make new stars. And it's like, I think that the Trent Beretta was another good talent we just let go. It's like, why didn't you at least try to keep him or negotiate something? But that being said, we'll move on to whatever the next question.
You have a few Scottish fans on here asking when you're coming back to Scotland, and will you work for ICW?
I hope I can come back to Scotland. I have no idea if I will work for ICW. I would like to, as long as I have a good opponent, the promoter pays me. I love Scotland's a very nice place. I hope I can come back over to the UK soon. My grandfather, who's my dad's dad, he just turned 81 years old, and he's still in great shape. And it would be awesome to come over and see him again and see my UK fans. So I hope to be back over in Europe again soon too.
Speaking of UK, a fan on here had a question about your relationship with Billy Robinson, which reminds me, I got to ask you this because you saw this. Sergeant Slaughter's claim that he beat Billy Robinson in a shoot.
Yeah, so I'll explain it like this. So going back years when Sarge was in WWE, he was always very, very unfriendly to me, and he never really had a lot of great advice. He always seemed kind of uninspired and was uninspiring to the talent. And then I had heard that, and you know what? If Sarge did, then good on him. The only way I would see that happening is if maybe Billy got too drunk and started, something escalated, like what happened with him and Sailor White. And maybe he, got put in his place. The only person I've heard from was through Sarge. But I will say this: I saw Sarge at WrestleMania this last year, and he came up and grabbed me from behind and gave me a hug and told me he's been watching me and said I was doing a great job, and I appreciated it. I don't know if somebody told him that. Maybe I said he wasn't friendly to me, but he was extra nice, like almost went out of his way, which I appreciated. And it was cool that he came and was very nice to me, and he gave me a nice encomium with his statement about how I'm doing a great job. And I wish Sarge all the best. I heard he had a double hip replacement. But if he did beat Billy, then Sarge, I guess, he's on Olympic level or a level like Hickson Gracie to beat Billy Robinson. Because I think Billy's technique was phenomenal. If Sarge did, then he's a tough SOB, I suppose. The only person that I heard Billy really put over, as far as being a shooter pro wrestling wise, was Baron von Raschke. And I saw an interview where Baron said that Billy tried to shoot on him in the ring, and they had a scramble, and he came out on top. That I could believe because Billy touted him as being absolutely 100% legit. So that could be true. I never heard anything else with Sarge.
And last fan question I'll ask fans watching this. This is being recorded with a cell phone. The high quality version will be posted when I post the full thing that includes Davey Boy Smith Jr. explaining why he left New Japan. But someone's asking what your favorite opponent was and who you would like to wrestle in the future most.
Yeah, you know what? Going back to when we were talking about a lot of my great stuff that I've been doing, I love that really, really awesome, and the beauty of these matches that I've done with guys like Killer Cross. And first off, I want to thank Killer Cross because he was the one that requested to wrestle me, and I really appreciate that he thought so highly of me to step in the ring with me, and I do feel that I'm at that one of the level of the men, I like to call it. It was a great match. We only talked about it for about 5 minutes. We just went in there and wrestled each other, wrestled stiff. I want to say it was almost maybe my favorite match that I've had. And it was a different atmosphere with the ropes taken down. So I want to almost go with that. I believe I'll be on the next GCW Bloodsport show September 15th. I don't know who my opponent will be, but it will be interesting if it's Josh Barnett, or I don't know what his plan is, if he's bringing any talent over from Japan. So at the moment, my favorite match of mine is Bloodsport. Please check that out on Fight TV. It was on YouTube, but it did get taken down, and I understand they want people to subscribe, so it's definitely worth the money to watch that for sure.